Okay, welcome friends. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay and that I'm 5x5. That's always helpful. Make sure we're ready to roll today. Hope everyone's doing well. Busy time of year, depending on where you are and your sort of holiday traditions. But yeah, great to have everyone here. Could be our last live stream of the year. Sort of planning on that, but if something pops up or there's a reason to have another one, we might do that. So great. J. Scott McLean, the trigger finger, in and letting me know we're good to go. This is great. Been missing you all. This has been fun to do over the last year or two, and we're going to do several things here. We'll get started at the top of the hour, but we'll go ahead and do some shout outs, maybe talk a little bit about what we'll be doing here in the next hour or so. We have Amanda Jo or Mandy Jo and Susan Helmer as our moderators today. So a big thanks to them for contributing and helping out in the live chat. So excellent. Hope you're doing well today. It's what's it look like here in Idaho? Cloudy, calm, no snow on the ground. We had some snow, but it's melted, so that's kind of a bummer. I like snow. I'm one of those kind of weirdos that enjoys the winter weathers. I enjoy each season, and I enjoy seeing each season come and then go. So let's see who we have there. Charlotte Rose, hello. Yeah, Tess is on. Of course, J. Scott was there. Steffi Linda says hi from Alaska. Hard Rock Girls there. Tim in Ontario, how are you doing, my friend? Joanne from Chesapeake, Virginia, a great maker and knitter of hats. I can bear record of that. AJ here, excellent. Sandrine in France is there. Carolyn from Scotland. Caddis from Sweden. Sweet. Brady G. Mary. Winter Webb from Western Massachusetts. Johnson from Sweden. Jan Clancy, excellent. If I'm missing you, I apologize. Snore or More from Indiana, fun little moniker there. Charlotte's back telling us she's from the Peak District, UK, excellent. Snow drizzle in Toronto, says Tim. Denise is in Nova Scotia. Jari from Finland. Oh, sounds like it's very cold in Finland right now. I have no doubt that winter is in full swing there in the Scandinavian countries. Bex from Oak Island, North Carolina. Sandy from the South in the USA. Scott's in South Africa. It's raining very hard. Yeah, it's summer down there, right? So kind of crazy to think about that. And yeah, this is the 1-year anniversary of the first of the 7 so far Sunukur volcanic eruptions we've had and that we've experienced in together, these events that we've shared together. And so I'm looking forward to talking a little bit about that and do a little Iceland update, lots of other things as well. Let's see. Petri's also in Finland. Thomas is in San Antonio. Johannes is in Scotland. Heidi from Ogden, Utah. Hello, Heidi. Blast from the past. We went to Weber State together, took geology classes. Brendan from Salt Lake. Robin in the Netherlands. FSM is the dog from Wales. Boy, I can't keep up with these. Great to see so many folks have taken time to join us here today. We'll do a couple more shout outs for a few minutes and then we'll get started. Richard in Vienna, you have a beautiful city. Let's see. Brady's over in Rexburg, Idaho. Marcia in Wasilla, Alaska. Stevie Pinhead from Seattle. Susan is in rainy north central Idaho. Yeah, it's just kind of cloudy here. Hopefully we're getting a storm the end of this weekend, but the mountains are getting the snow. We just haven't had much down here in the valley. Andy's in Chicago. Alan says I'm looking good. Maybe he's talking about my cool sweatshirt, because certainly that would be more what's looking good versus me. Bradley, Southern Indiana and drizzle. Excellent. Yeah, Arkansas Rail Productions in Wet Dermot, Arkansas. John Sykes says it's only 72 Fahrenheit in Florida. Yeah, trying to make us all jealous. I see what's going on. Mantlewind from Scotland. It's so fun just to, like, having done this now for more than a year, really, but just it's great to see so many folks come back. Like, I don't remember all the names, but I remember a lot of them, and definitely doing the live streams helps me remember doing these frequently. Cody Edwards from Idaho. Gabriella from Florence, Italy. Awesome. STTSJT from the Netherlands. Yeah, all sorts of good folks in here. I'm missing some folks, so I apologize. But you can see the live chat as well as I can see it and read it. Maybe better, probably, right? Dazzy82 from Bavaria, Germany. Greetings. Laura, thanks for your email in Chile. Sent me a video of earthquake that she felt down there. Good jolt down there. Chile. High on my list. Laura, I talked to someone at our local bike shop whose mother's husband, father-in-law, owns property in Chile and said I could go down there and stay sometime. So that it moved Chile up the travel meter a little bit for me. So it was already high on my list, but now having like a connection definitely is helpful. So good stuff. Sharon Lobo, she was out in Death Valley. She's from New York, but maybe she's still traveling, or maybe she's back doing her geology research. Good to see a familiar face there. Yeah, Ivana from Serbia. Very great. Joseph from Alabama. Sunny from Bremerton, Washington. Victor from the Netherlands. Griet Horksman from Belgium. Jackie from Southwest Washington. Great. We got lots of folks coming in. My clock shows top of the hour, so we'll go ahead and get going. So greetings one and all, and thank you for joining me today for this special live stream broadcast. I'm Geology Professor Shawn Willsey. Great to see so many folks here from so many parts of the world. I love this geologic learning community we've built and cobbled together from, pulled in pieces from all corners of the earth, and it's fun that we can get on here together and share geologic learning together, get to know each other a little bit, have a nice safe place to grow and learn together. So awesome. So thanks for joining me today. I wanted to do a live stream today, December 18th, for two reasons. One, kind of the end of the year. Christmas is in a week, things get busy, and probably this will be my last live stream of the year unless something big happens and I feel like I need to share and help with that event, if that's the right wording. Or, maybe if we do another drone flight or something like that. But the other reason is this, of course, is the 1-year anniversary of the first eruption that took place in a sequence of so far 7 on the Reykjanes Peninsula in Iceland. And so it's kind of special to me because, it was about a year or so ago that my YouTube duties and responsibilities, which I totally enjoy and love, kind of went to another level. And Iceland's kept me very busy this last year. Of course, I've been trying to do a lot of other things as well. And so that was the reason for the live stream today. So thanks for joining me, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Quick little outline of what we'll do today. I wanted to start with just maybe a basic introduction of who I am and a little bit about the channel and our community to any new viewers. We do pick up a lot of new subscribers every single day, and I thought that would be nice to just do kind of a quick reset for those that maybe are like, hey, I kind of like this guy and what he's doing, but I'm not quite sure, how it's all organized or what he actually covers. It might feel a little random and helter-skelter. We'll do a quick little rundown of what I think for our community and our channel, some big events that took place this last year, kind of a little year in review. A lot of times this time of the year we get, I got a Spotify thing with my music that let me know which artists I listened to the most this past year. Kind of fun thing to look back at what's happened this past year. Then we're going to try something new. We're going to do a couple of questions about the channel and see whoever's closest. We're going to give away a piece of merchandise. We've never done that before. I hope it works well, so please be patient with us. I want to show you some new graphics that some folks have been working on and get your feedback. We'll talk a little bit about some field trips I have planned for next year, although there aren't hard dates set in ink. They've at least been penciled in. We'll do a fairly brief update in Iceland and we'll do viewer question and answer to kind of round it out. So how long will we be here? I don't know, at least probably an hour, maybe a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. And of course, if you're watching this in replay, you can skip ahead, do whatever you need to do. But for those that are here live, thanks so much for spending time with me today. So I thought what we might start with here, oh, and real quick, if you do have questions you want to submit, I'm willing to take essentially any questions. Doesn't have to be Iceland focused. Hopefully it's geology focused because that is my expertise. But if it's something personal about me or the channel in general, you can throw those in as well. Just follow the prompts on the live chat from Mandy Joe and Susan, and they'll let you know exactly what sort of protocols to follow. Usually it's the big question mark, and then that helps them pick out your questions. They'll aggregate those and then email those to me, and we'll do that at the end of the broadcast here. So let me start with just a quick little introduction. For many of you regulars, this will be something you're already familiar with, but just in looking at the channel, of course, I have rebranded the channel slightly. I do like this phrase, Geology Explained, and maybe if I could go back in time, that would be the actual name of the channel. But the channel started out as my name because I had 2 videos on there, and I hadn't planned for this thing to go where it has today. But I thought adding the colon and then Geology Explained would be appropriate, because a lot of people recognize the channel by my name, which is great. But then I think this encapsulates nicely what I try to do and what we try to do as a community with the Geology Explained thing. So here's the channel. You know what a YouTube channel looks like. You don't need me to explain that. But some quick little organizational things here about the channel. First of all, a little bit about me. So I am a geology professor here at the College of Southern Idaho. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in geology. I do not have a PhD. So those of you who have referred to me as Dr. Willsey, that's not accurate. I do not have a PhD. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree. I also, and I guess you can read this in the little bio, little blip here, but I also have 2 books that I've written, Roadside Geology of Idaho, which I was a co-author on, and then Geology Underfoot in Southern Idaho. I'm a licensed professional geologist in the state of Idaho. So I took 2 4-hour exams several years ago to be licensed, which allows me to do work as a consultant. Maybe someone wants to build a house on the rim of the Snake River Canyon, and in order to get their house a little closer to the rim, they have to have their location and the site assessed by a professional geologist. So I sometimes do a little bit of work like that. I've been teaching at the college level for over 20 years. I've worked in the past as a climbing and whitewater rafting guide, 3 kids, married. So that's enough about me, just in case anyone's new out there and wants a little bit of info of who is this guy sitting here talking to me. In terms of the channel, we probably the best thing to do, there's a lot of videos out there. At this point, there's 560 videos, which is a lot. We've managed to gather a lot of subscribers, which is great. I think the playlist button is probably the best way to kind of organize things. So I've tried to organize these as best I can under themes. So most of these are by geographic locations. My bread and butter videos, the videos I started out with years ago, were field-based videos, actually in the location, showing you the rocks, showing you the landform and the features, and explaining it to you. So for example, if you go to, I don't know, let's just pick one here, California videos, then you can go here and see all the videos that were recorded in California. There's a few other titles in here. So there's my Geology 101 series, which is here as well, and I'm adding to that as we go, but there's 28 videos there so far. Interview series. So there's a couple other sort of themes or series as well. So this is hopefully not too long of an exhaustive list, but as I travel to more places, some of these new ones show up. Like, for example, going to Europe this past year and recording some videos there, there's now a European video link. So I guess what I'm saying here is, with the lull in the Iceland eruption, if you're very much a lava fan of the eruptions, while we have this lull between eruptions and it's the holidays and you get a little bit of downtime perhaps, it's maybe a good time to circle back to some of these videos and find some that you might have missed, or a topic or location you might be interested in. So there's the playlist there. So I tend to make videos. You might ask, like, well, what's this guy's theme? Like what's his interest? And really anything geologic that interests me, I'll try to make a video on. If I find that there's an interesting story or location or a landform or a geologic process, then I'll tend to do something like that. I do a lot with Iceland because it's a place near and dear to my heart, and I've been there several times. And so there are a bunch of Iceland videos here. So there's a whole lot of those because I tend to do updates regularly as we're dealing with the eruptions, and as the eruptions are getting closer, I do updates where I go through the data, look at models and projections, and sort of piece together as a community what might be going on with that volcano there. Similarly with Hawaii, I do the same thing with Kilauea, another place I've visited often and is near and dear to my heart. So I'd say my bread and butter is sort of monitoring volcanic situations in Iceland, Hawaii, volcanoes in the US. I don't cover all global volcanoes, so mainly because I don't have a personal connection to them. And then doing lots of field videos in places I've traveled to. And then occasionally there's another playlist here, Geology in the News, where if there's a current event going on that I feel I can contribute some insights to, I'll put a video together. So for example, yesterday there was or was it the day before? I don't remember now. Within the last 2 days, there was this major earthquake in Vanuatu, 7.3. There was one in Western Nevada about a week ago. There was one in Northern California. So anytime there's something I feel like I can contribute to, I will do that. So it is a bit helter-skelter. There's not a hard and fast theme. Do my videos come out on a regular schedule? Absolutely not. So last thing real quick about the channel, and then we'll move on, is if you do want to support the channel, there's a couple ways to do that. If you go to the top, there are a couple of links there, a PayPal link and another link here if you want to contribute. You can also, under any video, you should be able to find, if you go to, let's say, this video here, if you go to the video description, there's ways you can support the channel as well. So you can always click on these little 3 buttons here, and there's a little thanks button. Not required, just something for those that want to. I am happy to do these, and I enjoy doing these. And I was doing these many years ago when there was no sort of financial compensation at all. But now it's become kind of a bit of a second job, and it does take some time, but I'm happy to do it. If you want to support it, great. If not, that's just as well too. You're all part of the community. Okay, that's enough about that. Hopefully that was helpful. Just kind of a quick orientation for folks that may be new to the whole scene. What do I want to do now? So now what I want to do is kind of go through like the year in review. I have some fun things here. We're going to do the giveaway here in a bit as well. So a lot's happened this past year with our community, and I can't thank this person enough because most of the heavy lifting and work behind the scenes was done by Amanda Jo. So Mandy Jo on the live chat, and she's just been so incredibly instrumental. So 3 cheers for her. She was the one who came to me and said, hey, you need a website. I'm like, I know I need a lot of things, but A, don't know how to make a website, B, don't have the time, and C, don't have the resources to like hire someone and get it done. And she was like, hey, I know how to do this, I'd be happy to. And she did such a great job with getting our website together. Let me just go ahead and show that to you real quick. Some of you might have seen this already, willseygeology.com. And so this is all her work. I mean, I've helped her get some of the content she wanted there, but she's put together all the videos that you would see on the YouTube channel. When we run field trips, you can access those here. We'll get to the merch here in a second, but different geologic education links for different areas, stuff related to me like books and articles, and that is all on here. So if you want to reach out and have any comments about the website, there is an email address at the bottom, and that goes straight to her. And then if it needs to go to me, she sends it on to me. But she does so much heavy lifting, and so I guess all I can say, and I've said this to her 100 times, but I'll keep saying it because I feel so grateful to her. Thank you, Amanda Jo. You're amazing and awesome, and the resources and the platforms we have here is because of you. And she also was instrumental in getting this little storefront put together. So there's not much money made off this. Basically, the company, when you click on the online store, they're the ones that take your order, produce the product, and ship it to you. So this is not a huge money-making venture, but a lot of people in our community wanted to have, stuff to wear, wanted gear to put on or stickers or whatever. So that's where this sort of came from. But there's all sorts of shirts and hoodies and great things there. We have the 3 new logos that we've been working on. And I've got some other graphics I want to show you here in a bit as well. So anyway, stop by the store if you're interested, or if you want to give it as a gift to someone. But mainly this is just a shout out to Amanda Jo for just the great work she did there. So that was a big development this past year, was getting the website up and going, and in the last month, basically getting the little storefront and the merch available just in time for Christmas. So that's exciting. Hopefully everyone is excited as I am. Maybe not, but big for me, right? We've streamlined the way the field trips work and signing up for the field trips, and yeah, this has just made the Geology Explained world here run so much more smoothly. And again, Amanda Jo was the catalyst there. So awesome. Other things that happened this year. Well, I had a new series that came out that started this year, the Geology 101 with Willsey series. There's 28 videos so far. I still need to add to those. Right now I'm covering earthquakes. I've got maybe 4 or 5 big topics. So I don't know where that'll land in terms of total number of videos, but hopefully within the next few months I can chip away at that, and that'll be a nice closed offering of courses. If you've never had a Geology 101 course at the college level, this is a way for you to learn that material at your own pace. You can rewatch the episodes. I have little quiz questions embedded in there sometimes. It's exactly what I teach when I teach my regular courses. So this has been a real fun way to get viewers that basic geology information, because sometimes you can jump to even one of my videos and you're maybe a little bit lost, like, oh boy, he just said something about the beach balls or a strike slip fault or whatever, and you feel embarrassed not knowing it. You shouldn't, but you don't understand the concept. So this is the basics here. So that was fun. And then the other series I've started just this past year is an interview series. There's 13 of those so far. So basically, I'm finding geologists that I can have a connection with, or just contacts, and finding out how they got into geology, what their background is, what they do with their current job. And I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, I want my students, or any future student of geology, and that could be any age, that could be someone 10 years old or 90 years old, to be able to see the different paths, right? I think when I was in college, it was hard for me to see beyond the classes and the degree to what I was actually going to do professionally. There was a huge disconnect. And even when I got a master's degree, I had no idea how geology worked in the real world. And so this series has been really fun for me because I find people's backgrounds and stories interesting. So talking to other geologists that work for the Park Service or private consulting, other professors or people in academia, it's been really fun for me. So I'll continue to put out those series. I suppose I could, if you viewers know of someone, a geologist that in the professional world that has maybe an interesting background or story, and especially if you have some connection or contact information, I can reach out and see if those people are willing to come on and do a sit down interview or whatever. So that's been a really fun video series to also add to the collection. Other things that have happened, so we've added some new things this past year to the channel, and I feel like the feedback's been good and people have been receiving those and enjoying them, so that's been great. But I'll keep doing more of the same. So the things that kind of got us here, right? So random road cuts, there were 15 new random road cut videos added this past year. Kind of has a cult following. These videos don't get the highest views. If you're wondering what random road cuts is, I had the inspiration, I suppose, a little over a year ago to just pull over my car as I'm driving to some other place to go do geology videos. But on the way there, I thought, what if I just stopped at a road cut, never seen the rocks before, maybe don't have a lot of context or information about that location, and just systematically work through my observations and then my interpretations as if, you know, I'm going into this blind, because oftentimes I am. And people really, that's really resonated with folks because it's similar to what they experienced in their outings, going out and just looking at rocks and road cuts, and you got to kind of put the pieces together and do the detective work. So continue to do those. I don't see that ending anytime soon. Of course, Iceland updates have been very busy this past year. It looks like there was about 62, and that might be a little bit low, Iceland updates that I did over the past year. That averages over to more than one a week. So that's kept me busy. The volcanoes definitely kept me hopping, but it's been so interesting, and it's been fun to learn from all of you, learn from other people looking at the volcanoes there. I've just grown and learned so much, I feel like, this past year with Iceland, and plan to do that as we move forward as well. Kilauea has kind of been on and off active this past year. I think we had 2 eruptions this past year. Yeah, Southwest Rift Zone eruption and that Middle East Rift Zone eruption. So that continues to be a place that I'm always interested in, and so we'll continue to do updates there. And then other little news bits like some of these earthquakes I talked about as well. So, and then the field videos, which I feel like are my bread and butter. I feel like these are the ones that I'm most, well, I don't know if to say I'm most passionate about, but this is the OG, right? This is the original Shawn Willsey geology videos. Were just completely field-based. It's still a wonder to me that people pay attention when I sit in my office and talk, because that doesn't seem as captivating to me, but many people find it interesting. So, okay, so that's just a little bit of a year in a review summary. Hopefully that wasn't too boring for you. And so now, without further ado, and I hope this goes well, and if Susan and Mandy Joe, if this train wrecks, I apologize. I'll promise you a nice dinner or something. I don't know. I'll have to make it up to you somehow. Okay, so what I want to do here is there's 5 categories I'm about to give you. So these are all questions about our channel, our community, okay? And now some of these are going to be like ridiculous numbers that you're not going to know, okay? So really we're just playing a game where the person that's closest is going to be the winner. And so you can only submit your answer once. So make sure when you do that, please just do it once for each category. So there'll be 5 winners total. You have 5 chances to win. What do you win, you might ask? Well, you can go to our new storefront with all the merchandise and pick any item that you see there, and we'll pay for it. So it'll be completely free. So once we get done, make sure you email Amanda Joe and let her know you won whichever category. You can go into the merchandise store, pick out an item, and then we'll make sure, and you'll need to email Amanda Joe your shipping address, and we'll make sure we get that out to you. So I thought this would be fun. If this train wrecks, then we won't try it again, but I wanted to give something back to you guys, because our viewers is what makes this go round. So does that make sense? Do the rules make sense? So there'll be 5 questions, I guess, or categories. All the answers are numbers. So I thought that would be easier than asking something like, you know, I don't know, like, which national park did I do my first video in, or what, you know, something like that, where like there might be a bunch of people that respond with the same answer. So I thought numbers would be good. What's fun is when you go into the YouTube kind of studio thing, they have all the analytics. So they actually, I was able to find all the numbers for 2024, and that's what kind of prompted this. I was just interested in seeing, you know, how many videos I'd done and how many, you know, subscribers had we added and all those sorts of things. So without further ado, let's just give this a go. So remember, 1 submission per viewer, please. Susan and Amanda Joe, and maybe I, and you can also help too. So when we all see the numbers coming in from each person as they make their guess, if you can see who was closest, maybe help the moderators out a little bit. But let's be careful not to like overload the live chat with so much. So all right, let's just go and let's just see how this goes. I'm kind of nervous, but I think we just have to do this. So the first question is, in the year 2024, how many new subscribers were there for our channel? For Shawn Willsey Geology Explained, how many new subscribers came to our YouTube channel and subscribed. New viewers came to the channel and subscribed just in the year 2024, from January 1st to basically today. How many new subscribers? So remember, you get one chance to put your number in, so I'll let you guys think about that for a minute or so. Yeah, I can see numbers coming in. I probably need to. Oh boy, this is going to be tricky. Help! Oh my goodness. Okay. Amanda, Joe, and Susan know the right answer, as do I. And the numbers are coming in so fast. All right, I think I see one that's got to be pretty close. Let's see. All right, so the polls are closing. If you have not submitted your answer, please do so now. Those of you who submitted nice round numbers, that's kind of making it simpler. Okay. All right, the polls have now, in 3, 2, 1, closed. Yeah, FSM is the dog. Big mistake. Yeah, you know, you got to try something, right? That's how innovation works. Okay, so the last one on here, I know there's a little lag on the chat. Let's see, I'm looking for the last number and saying, okay, it's cut off after that. Is it Jeffrey Porter with his guess? Oh. Okay. Amanda, Joe, you were able to go through all of those that quickly and figure it out? Oh boy. So she says the winner is Joanne Kellum. All right, so here's the answer. Da 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 da. Drum roll. 50,608. So in 2024, we added that many new subscribers to our channel, that many new people into our community. And so Joanne's guess, I think I saw it when it went by, she guessed 50,000. And so I think we got that right. Amanda Joe's so quick with the typing and the computer and technology. I think she got it. Yep. Great. Joanne, well done. Round of applause here in my one-person studio. Very nice. Yeah, so Joanne, if you want to email Amanda Joe, and after you look at the merchandise, pick something out for yourself or someone else, whatever you want to do, and we will get that out to you. So well done. That didn't go too bad. Yeah, so congratulations. Joanne, you deserve it. You make great hats, and you've made me, I think, 1, if not 2 beanies over the years. So good deal. Was that fun? I had fun doing that. That was awesome. Okay, let's go to round 2. Da -da 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 -da. This is fun. I really could be a game show host. You need some theme music, I suppose. All right, the next category. Total watch time of videos in hours. So basically, let me give you some context here. Every time someone clicked on one of our videos and watched it, maybe they watched for 2 seconds, maybe they watched for an hour, aggregate all of that total time, okay, over the course of the whole year, all the time spent watching the Shawn Willsey Geology Explained video over this past year, and we want this in hours, not minutes or seconds. So go ahead and jump in with your estimate. These first 3 categories, I will let you know, are fairly large numbers, and so it is just kind of guessing. And you know, the last 2 are smaller numbers, so you might have a better handle on those. But it's just fun. So what's funny is, like, I sent the answers to Amanda Joe, and she sent them to Susan as well. I don't have the answer in front of me. Actually, I might have had it on a threw-away piece of paper that had them on it. Is it embarrassing that I am right now rooting through my garbage? Oh, I do have it right here. Excellent. Okay, now I feel a little bit better. No, not geologic time. This is, although the units might be similar. So how much total time, 2024, how much time have people spent in aggregate watching our videos from this channel? let's see. So yeah, so we'll give you another minute or so, and then the polls will be closing, as it were. We'll stop the clock. I'm kind of scrolling and trying to find someone here. That one's kind of close. And it's not The Price is Right. So if you go over, but you're closer, closer is closer, right? Oh, I think I see one. All right, so the polls are closing in 3, 2, 1. So I'll let the lag kind of come through, and then we'll cut it off here. Looks like, wow, numbers are all over the place. Interesting. Answer in the form of a question. Yeah, I wasn't going to do that. That would have been rough. Oh my gosh, my daughter's on here. Hi, Tessa. She says, hey, Dad, probably like a lot, which sounds just like her. Yep. Tessa, you get something free anyway. I will buy it for Christmas. You can order as much merch as you want. Okay, so the time has now stopped. Amanda, Joe, and Susan are doing great work scrolling through. I think I know who it is. I think I know who the winner is, but I'll wait for them to officially peruse the many submissions. Thank you all for playing. I don't have any wonderful parting gifts for you, but wish we did. Think of all that lost productivity. Yeah, fun stuff. All right, so yeah, this is a big one in terms of just numbers. The next category also is a large number, and if you're frustrated by that, then please be patient until we get to the last two, which are much smaller. A free trip to the nearest road cut. That's great. Fun stuff. Yeah, you guys are funny. Should just leave the comedy is in the live chat, team. That's where it's at. Or Tessa, what you should have said, because this was in your little short, you should have said a bajillion. A bajillion hours, because that is a unit that I believe you coined on a time. So yeah, Amanda, Joe, or Susan, as soon as you guys, and don't rush, but when you have the right answer, I think I know who it is. I'm kind of scrolling back through. I don't want to say because you guys are scrutinizing it closer than I am. Oh, this one's actually closer. I thought I had it, but it's actually this one. So, oh, Mantlewind. Very nice. Trying to find the number. What was their number? Scroll through and find it. This is just too much. Oh. Oh, we have two winners. Okay. Great. Who is the other winner? We have one winner. And if we screwed this up, so if we accidentally got it wrong, like if somehow Amanda, Joe, or Susan misses the actual winner, then we can award two. That's fine. So if we have two winners, that's great. Then two winners is two winners. We're not going to have like a thumb wrestle or whatever. So hold on. The first one went really well. The second one, maybe not so much. Let me send her a quick message, and then we'll reveal the answer here. So hang tight, team. Okay, so we're getting some clarity here. Sorry, I'm just... Okay, so let me throw up the right answer here. Obviously, this game show is not going to be picked up by any network. All right, so here was the answer. Dun, 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 dun. 1,766,661, that's a lot of sixes, hours of total watch time. People spending their time with a video from this channel. So very awesome. So apparently we had 2 winners, and if we screwed up and your guess was actually there too, just let us know. But the 2 winners were, did they say on here? Yeah, Mantolin and Sandrine. So very nice. So the 2 of you will get a free piece of merch. Awesome. Yep. So if we miss someone, just let us know. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. Is that good? Yeah, there's a lot of hours. Wait till you see the next category. Yeah, I'll give you a hint on the next one. The number is larger than this. So, yeah, good stuff. A lot of hours. Yeah, I was impressed too. It's kind of cool that it keeps track of all that, and it's fun to see these, end of year summaries and such. Okay, so are we ready for category 3? Yeah, if we mess something up, this is just all, we're figuring this out as we go, team. So bring your highest level of patience and your largest level of understanding. And if someone was like right there, we can scroll back and see when you sent that on the live chat, because I thought there was someone that was it? Craig Messerman had 1,750,000. So I don't know. I couldn't find Sandrine's just scrolling through there. So if Craig Messerman, if you are as close or closer than those 2, then you 2 are a winner in the sweepstakes here. So yeah, fun stuff. Okay, let's go to the next one. So yeah, if Susan or Amanda Joe, I know you guys are probably doing a lot, but if you can check to see if Craig Messerman's was closer or if he's in the running. If not, that's okay. All right, so our next one, here we go. Total number of views. So this is a little different, team. This is not a time component. Every time someone clicked one of our videos and watched it for a second or for an hour, doesn't matter the duration, but every time someone clicked on and opened a video. So the total number of views of all Shawn Willsey Geology Explained videos for all of 2024. And it's bigger than the previous number for sure. So go ahead and take a stab at this one. And we'll leave this one open for a bit. I hope Susan and Amanda Joe forgive me for this chaos. Yeah, you can be over or under, just the closest one. Well, there's some big numbers coming in. So the total number of views, how many views? Every time someone clicks on a video and it pops up, that's one view, regardless of how long they actually watch it for. So we'll let you guys chime in with your responses there. Oh, I love that my daughter's participating. This is so much fun. I hope she's feeling better. Tessa, I know you've been sick. You're still sick. I hope this little live stream with your dad and all these fun people is bringing a little bit of comfort and solace to your otherwise congestion-filled, dreary day. That one's kind of close. Let's see. That one's close. No, Precambrian type numbers. It's not in the billions. How about that? Not in the billions. Not a Precambrian number. That one's. Is this 118? Oh, that one's really close. Okay, so I'm trying to figure it out myself. Okay, so I need to close the polls here soon. If you've all chimed in, go ahead and close the polls now. Okay, everyone in that wanted to be in? I think it was. I should let my moderators do this because they're. But it's fun for me to look. This one's really close. I mean, you know. Oh, but that one's tied. Okay, so I'll let them do the work here. I'm the game show host, so I'm just supposed to keep the show moving. So yeah, so the next two categories. So now we've closed the polls. Let's go ahead and reveal the answer, and then we'll let Amanda, Joe, and Susan find the winner or winners. So 12,855,233. So that's how many times, not viewers, just views, right? That might have been Sandrine or one of you clicking on 100 videos. That would contribute to this number. But yeah, pretty big number. So essentially, a little bit north of 12.8 million views. Pretty incredible. I mean, if only my students were paying as much attention as all these other folks. So very cool, though. It's very awesome for me to feel appreciated and to know that the title or the thumbnail or something caught their attention. I'd like to think those people stayed in for the whole thing, were educated, learned something. That's the idea. Yeah, so yeah, this was a hard one, team. I promise the next two are a little bit more like tangible numbers. We will not be in the millions or billions. We won't even be in the thousands. We will have much smaller, fewer digits to digest on the next one. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, if we did this every year, some of you I know would like keep a spreadsheet, keep a tally or something. I certainly, and these all just come from the YouTube, mega machine. I, of course, couldn't count all these per se. But the other two I did I didn't like verify completely, but I started counting to see if it looked about right. And I was like, yeah, it looks like about what I counted to. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, I don't think hardly any of my students are watching Skagit Ed. Maybe a couple. Actually, I know a couple that do, but most of them not. And that's okay. So we'll wait for our winner, and we'll do two more. Hopefully you're okay with this. I know this is taking a little bit more time than I wanted, but this is kind of fun, right? We just kind of gamified the whole channel. You came here to learn geology, and we're just playing a silly, cheesy game show. But it's fun. Just this once. Just the end of the year. You got to cut loose and, let your hair down a little bit. Yeah, so people I saw that were close. Who was closest here? I thought I saw, there was two people I saw that was 12.5. So that's pretty close. Yeah, Sonny Wheeler and Sanderson. I'm not saying you won, but with me scrolling, which is by no means probably accurate, it looked like you two might have been the closest to, but might have missed a few. All right, do we have a winner? I could do a game show. Maybe. Yeah, some well wishes for my daughter. Much appreciated. Yeah, that one was pretty close there. I think those are the two. I don't think I saw two closer than that. We might have another tie because we had two people at 12.5. I guess if you were at 13, though, 13's actually closer, isn't it? I didn't even think about that. So was there anyone that was a 13 million? Because that would have been... Oh, Elizabeth Wynn was 12.6 million, which is actually closer. So hold the potatoes. That's even closer, team. Yeah, obviously, if we had twice as many people on the live stream, this could get away from us really quick, and you could make a good argument that it really already has. Oh, and Petra had 12.5 too. See, I'm missing some as I scroll back. I'm missing some each time. And then I have to scroll to the bottom to make sure. Oh, we have a winner. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, Susan says we have a winner. Elizabeth Wynn. Yeah, Elizabeth had 12.6. And I was just scrolling to see if anyone was north of 12.6 or around 13. Yeah, I guess, you guys would know what you put as well as anyone. There's a 14. Craig was close again with 12. You were good at the estimates here. Okay, so where are we at here, team? Do we have a winner? So Petra, but Elizabeth had 12.6. So 12.6 is closer to 12.8. My daughter, please do not host a game show. I think I'm learning my lesson. Yeah. Tim, was there someone with 13? Yeah, we'll have to, this was, a good idea, but maybe left as an idea and not actually something we did. Yeah, Mandy and Susan, just if we told someone they won, go ahead and give it to them. We'll give away some more stuff. That's fine. So we could do Elizabeth win at 12.6, and then anyone that had 12.5. That's fine too. Yeah, listen to your daughter. Okay. I promise not to host a game show after today. All right. The worst part of it is like there's no, all you see is the screen and the scrolling of text. There's no audience, there's no faces in front of me. So it's a tough crowd. All my jokes fall flat. So someone's having fun. Ruby. Very nice. Yeah, we need a better way of keeping track of numbers other than a moving target. Yes. Yeah, it's a good first crack, Good stuff. Okay, so did we get it right? We got a winner on this one, and this one was just a ridiculously large number. So we had Elizabeth win at 12.6, but we had Petra and some folks at 12.5. So okay, are we ready for round 4? I want to make sure the moderators get a break or a chance here to reset. Yeah, next year we could use Kahoot, something like that. Well, Mandajo thought about having everyone email her, and I thought that actually sounded worse. So anyway. All right, if one of the moderators just let me know if they're ready for the 4th round, then we'll move on. Hopefully they're taking care of it. I just don't want to move ahead and have us be backed up. Okay, well, this is the biggest game show in the world, or the biggest disaster. I don't know which is true. So yeah, I don't know the polling capability. I'm not on Zoom. This is just running it here. So okay, so they're ready. Let's go. Okay, here's our 4th one. Team ready, set. 4th category, round 4. Total number of videos released. How many videos did our channel release in 2024? Could have been a video update, or in Iceland. Could have been a presentation that I uploaded. But how many? And it's in the hundreds. So there's a big clue. It's in the hundreds. It is not in the thousands. Just in 2024. How many videos released in 2024? And you're really not allowed to cheat. So if you're trying to look on the screen, because you might be able to figure that out quickly, that's sort of cheating. So this one is a little, I feel like the smaller numbers are a little bit easier to digest. I'm going to try to help the moderators out. So get your votes in now. We'll be closing the polls soon. This one's much easier. It shouldn't take as much work to think of this. So, all right. Numbers are coming in. Numbers. Okay, the clock is ticking, winding down. All right. 3, 2, 1. The polls are closed. I think this one's not as bad. I feel like these smaller numbers, just visually, your eye can pick it out much easier than something with a lot of commas or people who put, 1.6 M or K, like just 3 digits, definitely a little bit easier. Okay, so we have all the numbers coming in. Okay. Oh, we might have another tie. I think this one might be a tie. This one should go a little bit smoother. And I'll wait for the moderators to officially let me know who's won. If I've done this right, I think I know. Yeah, these two here. Okay, so the polls are closed, so I'll go ahead and reveal the answer. Oh, my daughter was close. She was very close. All right, total number of videos released. Dun, da, 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 211. If I got this right, Jess and Address, you said 212, which is very close. And John Rudisil, you had 210. So unless I missed anyone else, it looks like no one got it spot on, but both of those were one away, and so they would each be a winner. Tessa, you were so close. You were 2 away. That's really good. I'll buy you a bagel or something next time I see you. How about that? Yeah, so 211 videos. Pretty cool. I think I've got 550 or 60 total. So basically, in just 1 year, we launched about 40% of all the videos on the channel. That's kind of exciting. So, yeah, did I get the winners right there, moderators? Jess in Address with 212, and John Rudisil with 210. Unless I missed someone, I might have. I do think those are the 2 winners. Looks like that's it. Yeah, somebody had some big numbers, like 585. Jeepers. That's like 2 videos a day. I don't know. I'm not that prolific. But yeah, it kept me busy for sure. Some of you are getting my daughter's humor here. She's funnier than me for sure. She says, in my heart, I knew it was 211. I just really didn't like 2 of your videos. So she went with 209. Okay, yes, Jess and Address and John Rudisil. Email Amanda Joe, and you each get a piece of merchandise. There you go. Merry Christmas. Good job. All right, last one here, and then we're going to move on because this is taking up much more time than I thought. Total number of live streams. So in 2024, not counting this one, how many total live streams did we do? Please, if you're looking at the YouTube channel, you are cheating, and cheaters are not eligible. Just close your eyes, think of a number, enter your number here. How many live streams did we do together in 2024? Okay, we'll let the poll stay open for a bit. The numbers are coming in. Hopefully there's not like a 10-way tie, or I'll have to get a loan from the bank. Whoever's closest to this number. Tim, you're funny. 33.33. Yeah, if you play the decimal game, that might work, right? Because then you could be close one side or the other. It's like over-unders. All right, the polls are closing. The clock is ticking. In 3, 2, 1, and done. The polls have now officially closed. A couple more coming through on my end because there's a little bit of a lag. And let's see who our winner is for this last round of excitement. I don't know. I don't even know, I'm sure other channels do something like this. I didn't even like bother to try to look and see. I'm sure there's much better ways to do this than what I'm doing. Okay, I know I saw one number that was spot on. I'm just double checking to see if there's another person that I missed that was spot on. Again, these smaller, I think what we're learning here is, I think this game works okay with these smaller numbers, but when we had the commas and 9 digits or whatever, it was a bit much. Oh, 2 winners. Okay, I think there's 2 winners. The answer is 60. 60 live streams that we did in 2024, which is pretty awesome. I don't know what it was in 2023. I didn't bother to look, but for sure we did way more in 2024. 2024, we had these 7 eruptions and drone flights and all sorts of stuff. 2023, I know I did some, and especially at the end of 2023 when the eruption began. I would guess without looking, it was like maybe 15 or 20 or something like that. So lots more. So I think there was 2 winners. I think Ice Queen was spot on at 60, and I saw another one. Where are you? Yes, there's Ice Queen, but further down was Tanya. Tanya and Ice Queen, I think, we'll wait for confirmation from the moderators. I believe those 2 individuals were right on with 60, and so they are our winners. So 60 live streams, which is crazy, right? Like that's more than 1 per week. Yeah, we've been busy. Total number of drones crashed. Not by me. That would be 0. Yeah, Ice Queen and Tanya. Awesome. Well, that was fun, team. I apologize that took a lot of time, but hopefully you've enjoyed that. Yeah, so for our winners, again, just go to the website, willseygeology.com, scroll to the bottom. There's an email address there. Email Amanda Jo. Let her know, what your handle was on the live chat, just so because your email address might be different. Say, hey, I'm Tanya, or I'm Ice Queen, or whatever. And then there's a link on our website to the merchandise. You can pick one thing out. Make sure you let them know, size, if it's apparel, color, that sort of thing. And then we'll get that ordered to you as quickly as we can. So, fun stuff. Good work, team. Dun, 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 dun. Theme show music playing now. End credits, rolling end credits, and game show over. Awesome. Okay, so I thought that would just be fun. I was just going to share the numbers with you, and then I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun if we had people sort of guess. And I think maybe we should have just done the last 2 and not the first 3. But live and learn, right? Okay, what do we want to do next? Next is 2 more things, and then we'll get to an Iceland update, and then we'll get to your questions if you still are with us. So, okay, new graphics. So I've had 2 people working on, so you've all probably seen some of the logos on the on the YouTube channel and on the website and in the store. But I've had people working on some other graphics as well. So these are drafts. One of these has been worked on by my daughter, who's on the live chat. But I do want a little bit of feedback for these. And then the other one has been worked on by a former student who's sort of a friend of the family, great kid. And so I'm kind of excited about these, but I'm not good with like art, and like to me, I'm like, that's good enough, where that's good. And sometimes I don't see like color well and all the little things. Anyway, so I want your constructive feedback on these 2. So here's the one my daughter's put together. So this is supposed to be me. And it's pretty close. That's kind of how I dress and look, I think. And we have a spatter cone here, and then in the lava coming out of the spatter cone is these crusted over blocks of lava, and it spells out Geology Explained. And then again, this is a draft. She's still working on this, with Professor Willsey or something like that down here. So yeah, what do you guys think of this and then I've talked to her about like maybe in the instead of blue sky, we could add like some northern lights or something to kind of give it the sense that it's in Iceland. Although if the northern lights are up, why am I wearing sunglasses? Who knows? That can be part of it. So, and every time I say a lot of lava, it always kind of makes me giggle a little bit on the inside. And so that was kind of one of the ideas, was to have the spatter cone, the lava, a connection to Iceland. So when she'd drawn this little thing of me, I thought maybe we could have it be in the context of something like that. So yeah, see what you think. The idea here would be that this could go on t-shirts or whatever. It's probably too intricate for hats, but we could probably take the Geology explained part, which is sitting on the lava, and then maybe put that as just a logo on the hat or the front of the t-shirt or something like that. So that's sort of the idea. I know many of you have good artistic eyes and or better feel for graphics than I do. So if you have any good constructive criticism, yeah, you could put it on the live chat, but if you really want to give us some quality feedback, maybe send that to the website as well, and Amanda Jo can get that to me. So anyway, so yeah, looks like there's some pretty good feedback there. Fun stuff. Yeah, and I have a shirt that says this. So this literally, I mean, I wear a watch that looks like this. I have a rock hammer. I do have like climbing approach shoes that kind of look like this. She kind of nailed it. Like my sunglasses. This guy might be better looking than me, but I'll take it. Yeah, but it's pretty much something like that. I think she gave this guy bigger biceps than I have, but let's stay with that, Tessa. Let's not make his arms any skinnier. It looks good. I think it looks pretty good. Great, so this is one idea. So digest that and see what you think. And then here's the other one. So the next one here is a graphic for the random road cut fans. So I had sketched something like this out a long time ago, but I don't know how to draw well. So I kind of gave the concept to this former student who's a friend of our family's. Great kid, great person. And he came up with this. So this would be for random road cuts. And I think it's getting closer. So the idea is, you can see the road, you can see a person, and I wanted it to be, in this case, if the other one is me, a male, I wanted this one to be female. I thought that would be good. And then the rocks in the road cut. So this is sort of the idea so far. And we could maybe it turns into a circle. Maybe it shows the sky. I don't know. We'll keep the random road cut like font style the same. We can change the colors. This is kind of gray and yellow to kind of match the road. Again, I'm not good with colors, and ask my wife. I show up in my, actually I'm sitting here right now. You guys can't see this. I'm wearing cherry red shorts and my brand new gym shoes, which are like creamsicle orange. So probably not a fashion icon. So this is why I need a little bit of help. But I thought I did a good job with the colors. The idea here was just to show, some geologic scene. In this case, we kind of have an angular unconformity, if you know your terms. We have these layered, probably sedimentary rocks. They're tilted, an erosional surface, little bits of gravel, and then these rocks above. So something like that. So yeah, so kind of fun. Looks like people are saying nice things about it, and yeah, I appreciate it. But if you do have some improvements, or hey, this is how I would like go about this, or people who know how to because it's one thing to make the graphic, but then when you have to actually put it on a piece of clothing or something like that, things have to work, and I'm kind of learning that as we go. So yeah, if that looks like something you would like to wear on a shirt or a hoodie or have on your coffee mug or something like that, that's great. But really, I think, what I'm looking for is just what little improvements do you think need to be made, if any. I don't feel like it's done, but I feel like it's really close. And I think the student's name's Jason. Jason did a great job on this, as did Tessa. So yeah. Yeah, fun stuff. Okay. Yeah, you guys can continue to send feedback to Amanda Jo on these, and you can relook at those. So a couple things, then we'll get to Iceland and your questions. Let Where's my sheet here? So I haven't totally figured out field trips for next year. I'm trying to get things scheduled out. I do have a trip in February to the Big Island with some YouTube viewers. That's full. The Grand Canyon trip at the end of July is full. We just filled the 2026 Grand Canyon trip. So if you're like, hey, I missed that, when do those come out? How do I know about these things? Best thing to do is keep watching the website. And then I try to, or I know I do, but you might not catch all of them. I do post videos when I announce like field trip dates and such. So we have sort of two flavors of field trips. We have the sort of big field trips that obviously cost a little bit more exotic, involving a plane ride, or in this case, a boat ride, a whitewater, big pontoon J-rig ride through the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon ones, I usually get the launch dates in October. And then as soon as I get the launch dates, I advertise them and let people know about them. And then they fill. And a full trip is 17 people. And so 2025 is full. There's a wait list. 2026 is full, but the wait list is pretty short. So if you maybe wanted to be in on the 2026 trip, you could still get on the wait list there. And if you don't make the trip, then you would get, I think, first priority for the next year. So, but beyond just those bigger trips, I do want to do a couple days in around Twin Falls in April. This would be, I had planned to do a 2-day trip in November. Some of you might remember this, but there wasn't a lot of people showing up, and I think I had some other stuff brewing, so I ended up postponing or canceling that trip. But it only affected a few folks. So I'm going to run those trips again in April. This is not set in stone, but likely to happen and likely to be on these days in April. I have to still figure out exactly what I want to do and where I want to go with those. And then this is a trip I've done before. This will just be recycled, if you will. But the June trip will be new. This will be based out of Stanley, Idaho. I haven't got all the details figured out yet, so don't make plans per se. But maybe if you wanted to do this one, at least look at your calendar at this point. I don't know how much to say about this. I'm also talked to, but I don't know if this has changed a little bit. Some of you know Nick Zentner, and he and I were supposed to meet up in Central Idaho last year, and viewers were going to be able to come, and we were going to do like a little outdoor kind of lecture thing. That didn't happen because there were big wildfires in the area. So we did earlier this fall talk about doing it this coming year in 2025, and we did pick this window here, or I think it's actually the days after this, like the 28th, 29th. But then since we kind of made those tentative arrangements, he's had some other family issues with health issues with his family, and so I don't know for sure. But if I can get Nick out there for part of those days, I will try to, but that's not a guarantee. But anyway, so some field trips up near the Sawtooth Mountains, Redfish Lake, Stanley area in June. But just kind of keep watching the website and the channel for more announcements. So, okay, so good stuff. Done with all that there. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. Everyone okay? Yep, there's still folks there. Excellent. Let's go ahead and switch over to our Iceland update. So I have a little bit to share with you here. I'm going to first do a little shout out to Isak. So Isak, many of you know him and his channel. He does lots of drone flights over the area in Iceland, and I've been able to work with him a bit. And he did a live stream this morning, and he's given me permission to show clips of these, we just can't have my live stream at the same time as his. So I'll make sure I put a link to his in the description. So if any of you have not are not a subscriber of his but are interested in Iceland and the volcanic eruptions and things going on there, this would be another good channel to add, because he does great work with his drones flying over both when it's erupting and, like we see here, with it not erupting. So I guess in summary, the November 20th eruption, the eruption that began on the 20th of November, as you probably know, is officially over. It ended maybe a week or so ago. But all signs we have, all the data is pointing to lava continuing to refill that shallow storage zone underneath Svartsengi, underneath the power plant Blue Lagoon area. So we do expect another eruption in the future, not this year, obviously, but probably sometime early 2025, anywhere from, I'd say, February to April is probably a good window for right now. And so I'll get you through some of the data here, but I wanted to show you some of his footage. So the roadway, so what we're looking at here is we're looking at the power plant Blue Lagoon area. We're looking south. Grindavik is just between these two hills and kind of off to the left. You can see the ocean out there and the sun, the low sun in the Arctic this time of year. But they did reestablish the roadway. So Iceland has done an incredible job of, within a week or so of these lava flows, being able to reestablish roadways that were covered by lava. So this roadway, Grindavikervegur, I think that's how you pronounce it, something close to that. The main road north-south out of Grindavik has been reestablished. So Isak did a nice job kind of showing that. So I'm going to skip around a little bit and show you some bits and parts of this. Now you can't get in, right now you cannot get into the Blue Lagoon this way. So this is mainly a north-south road, but they are able to get people into the Blue Lagoon by coming around Thorpjorn here, this hill, and coming in from the south. And I'll show you that here in a second too. In fact, let me kind of skip ahead a skosh to show you like the new parking area over by the Blue Lagoon. Oops, we hit an ad. So, all right, let's get past the ad. Right, so here we are kind of moving forward. Further. And here's the berm, and here's the parking lot. So this is the parts of the Blue Lagoon here. You'll see in a second he'll pan out and you'll see the buildings. This is that kind of blue water, kind of hard to tell with all the snow there. But this is a new parking lot they put up inside the berm. So you can see it's quite crowded, not nearly as big as the former parking lot, but the buses come in here, are able to drop people off. So they're somehow managing, and I don't know all the details here, Amanda Joe might, but they are somehow managing, buses are bringing some people in. I think they're hoping a lot of visitors come in by bus, but then for those that drive, they do have some amount of parking here. So let me let that run. Here's a bus coming in even right here. Oh, so they actually can come in this way. I was wrong there. I guess there is a road that comes in from the north-south road as well. There's a bus coming in there. But then there's also the road that goes to the south straight to Grindavik. So here's a little better view here. So you can see the parking area right here. Here's the defensive berm, all the lava from this last eruption, November 20th. And then you can see like the buildings here, like the hotels and the infrastructure for the Blue Lagoon. There's actually the pools you soak in right here. So pretty crazy though. I mean, I'm still sometimes amazed at how this business, the #1 tourist attraction in Iceland, just kind of rolls with the punches, just kind of the Iceland way, and just has managed to stay open even while there's 2-week-old lava just outside their facility. It's pretty incredible. So he spent part of his time, Isak, showing this area and kind of going over this, and then I'm going to take you to a little bit further ahead here and show you where they're getting some of the material for the road base. So they're still doing a lot of work with heavy equipment to reestablish these roadways and such. And let me just show you here. Yeah, so here is looking east here. Here's Selingerfeld. Grindavik is off to the right here. The power plant's kind of back behind you in the lower right. And you can see this roadway here. So they've got a road that goes totally around Selingerfeld. The quarry's on the back side. Trucks come in one way, pick up their material, and then exit on this north side here. We'll kind of, Isak does such a good job flying and kind of showing everything. So if we kind of, now we're looking back towards the power plant. So we swung around now. We're moving east, but we're looking west. There's that road. And then as he pulls over here to the left, to the south, you'll be able to see there's the trucks, the haul trucks, just carrying out this road base, just earthen material. So they're basically quarrying out this south side of the hill, Selingerfeld, to get their road-based material. So they're just quarrying stuff out here. Trucks come in on this side, filled up there, and then they go out this way. So I thought that was interesting. And then he spent most of the second flight he did, this will be of more interest to folks, I suppose, was going out to the spatter cone, which was erupting just a few weeks ago. And there's some nice footage here. Find it, yeah, of this. So here is, oh, I need to upgrade to YouTube Premium and get rid of all the ads. So, but here's the spatter cone. You can see there's still holes where some of the vents are. And remember we had those two adjacent cones. So here's one. This is the one I think on the north side, and then there's one over here on the south. You can see this big crack running through it here. The spatter cone can accumulate enough material that actually sort of breaks and shifts a little bit. But those were the vents. So this is where the lava was coming up, I believe. You can see some of these little kind of lava stalactites there in that thing. Lots of different colors in here. The reds, of course, are oxidized iron, places where the gases were coming out, and then where the gases are really still coming out nicely, you can see some of these white deposits here, some sulfur and other chemicals that are precipitating out from the gases that are escaping or were escaping from this area. So there's some more of the drip features there. Remember, this is all basalt as a rock type, but we might also call this a glutinate because these were chunks of lava spatter. That's what actually constructed the spatter cone. They're just blobs of sticky lava that coalesce together. So we give that this fun geology term, agglutinate. Yeah, so I'd encourage you to watch if you want to see more of this, and this isn't enough. You want to like, hey, stop there. I want to pause. I want to go back. You can just check out his latest live stream from today, December 18th, and he does a nice job of flying over things and looking at these vents and such. But I appreciate him for allowing me to show parts of his footage here on my channel. Excellent. Very nice, very colorful. It's almost, I think, more, in some ways, just as exciting and instructive to do these drone flights over the lava field and the vents after the eruption is over and there's no longer any orange glowing stuff, as, you know, it's just as exciting, I think, as doing it during the eruption itself. I think that's all I wanted to show you there. Yeah, just some more great footage from him. So, okay, so yeah, in terms of data, not a whole lot to report here. There's not a new Met Office update, so they have not done anything since I think the 9th, which was about like a week ago. But the clear signs of uplift continue, especially as we look at the, let me move myself down a little bit here. As we look at the GPS data, this is the Svartsengi station, the station that's closest to the center of uplift, pretty much. There's actually there's two that are pretty similar. Here's all the inflation, the land rising. This trend of dots you see going up is the land rising through September, October, most of November. And then when it drops off the cliff here, that is the November 20th eruption as it begins. So the land dropped in fact, hundreds of millimeters, because the swelling was caused by magma coming into the subsurface. And then once that magma went out through the vent onto the surface, that allowed the land to contract a little bit. It was no longer swelling. It's like letting air out of the balloon. So you can see the deflationary trend that went on for a few days, more or less kind of flatlined while the eruption was going on. But since, I'd say, like, maybe that's, let's see, December 1st or 2nd, somewhere in there, we've seen a pretty steady rise, a little bit of a lull here, but you can definitely see the uplift trend going on there. So the real question would be, and I'm sure our good friend Bruce Garner's done this, although he hasn't shared any of these with me yet, so but he might. He probably is waiting a few weeks till he gets more data points. But the big question would be, fitting a line to this data and seeing where that might project out in the future in terms of dates and when we might see the next eruption. So the inflation signs that we weren't quite sure were there are very clear now over the last few weeks. Earthquakes, last 24 hours, pretty much nothing going on in the eruption area. So, and that's what we would expect, right? So as magma is refilling the space, there's space for that magma to go. The magma does not need to push into fractures, force rock apart, and generate earthquakes and seismic energy. So we'd expect earthquakes in this area to be pretty low in terms of frequency and magnitude over the coming weeks and even months until we get this system more or less refilled and pressurized, and then we might start seeing an uptick in earthquakes. Same thing when we look at the last month or so, or this is actually a week, sorry, not a month, a week. Yeah, 2 earthquakes total along the Sunakur fissure system just in the last week. And these are super tiny quakes. I can't even get my thing on it. There we go. 0.7 and whatever the heck this little one is here, 0.5. So very small earthquakes. A few over at Fagerdalsfjall. Those are, we've seen those before. Scattered ones are on Krishuvik, a few offshore. And then more in the interior, there's been some bigger earthquakes here. We'll have to look at this area, and maybe we'll spend a future episode talking about some of these bigger quakes that have been going on in this area. Amanda Joe sent me some information about this area. I think it's Hopnesjokul. That's how you pronounce it. I'll have to work on that. Yeah, but for the Reykjanes, not much for earthquakes. Interferogram, we do have one good interferogram I pulled up that went from November 28th to December 9th. So it was like about a week or so ago. That does clearly show with these colored fringes. So when you see this pattern here, this rainbow pattern, that's letting you know that there was change in the elevation of the land. In this case, it's the land inflating and rising over that time. November 28th, the eruption was pretty much done or in its waning stages. And by December 9th, the area had actually inflated quite a bit as that magma had accumulated, or a little bit. This isn't actually a ton of uplift. There's really maybe 2 color bands there. So it's, you know, probably something like a little sticky with how that works, like 3 millimeters, 3 centimeters of uplift, something like that. It's about an inch, a little more than an inch, but continuing. And then the last thing I have here, and this was from Amanda Joe, so thanks for sending this to me, was a news article from today where they talk about the next eruption could be, you know, sometime in February. So Benedict Ophigson, who's one of the scientists at the Met Office, says that the land rise comparable to the last eruption, if things continue as they are, another eruption could break out in February. So they're also doing this game as well of trying to track the uplift and see how that projects moving forward. His quote is, "It's too early to say an exact timing, and you never really have it, but soon after the turn of January to February, the situation should be similar to before the last eruption." So could be as soon as early February when we get, you know, the uplift and then enough volume of magma back into the system where an eruption is again possible. So good stuff. Okay, I think that's all I have for you for updates. Let's go ahead and switch gears to questions from you good viewers. Thanks for being here with us today. And let's see. Oh, hold on. Amanda Joe, the questions did not come through. I have the emails you sent me, but the questions weren't there. I don't know if you attached them or if they were listed, but if you could resend that, that would be great. So yeah, we'll answer a few questions from folks. It could be on Iceland, it could be on other things. I'll just try to share what I can. And we'll just kind of go from there. We'll do that for maybe, we'll do a couple pages of questions. Take a quick drink here. Yep, thanks for joining us, folks. Yeah, if you can resend the question sheet. It just came through blank. Yeah, sure it's nothing on my end. So yeah, if you could resend the question sheet. And we'll be able to go there. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just grab one out of the chat while I'm waiting. Ken Wilson, it's been 3.5 years since the Geldingdalir eruption. Would that area be considered safe to walk on now? probably there's some hiking trails that go out to that area. So he's referring to where we had these eruptions from 2021 to 2023. Probably the authorities don't want you walking on that. Lava can take a while to cool and crystallize. Rock is a good insulator. So is there still lava beneath this? Probably not, but is there hot rock or maybe slightly plastic rock at some depth below this surface? Maybe. So a couple dangers there. Even if the rock's hot, I've actually seen this in Hawaii before. If you're standing over still cooling lava that's solidified, it can actually melt the soles of your shoes or the rubber that holds your shoes to the upper part of your shoe. So there's that danger. Another danger would be that you can sometimes get lava that has inflated a little bit. The gas is accumulated in that inflation zone, and so there's the thin shell surface of solidified lava, but then a void beneath it. And so in this case, you wouldn't be worried about like falling into lava, but in standing on that, you could break through that crust. Your weight could cause that to collapse, and you could, roll your ankle or get hurt or something like that. So completely safe, probably not. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks for sending this, Amanda. I've got it now. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question there, Ken. So you could probably walk around like the margins of it, and I would say just be smart. I would not like do a hike across this thing. Yeah, just kind of be aware of that a bit. Okay, FSM is the dog. What are the likely scenarios of the Icelandic eruptions ending, declining intensity frequency? Yeah, great question there. I just don't see any. I mean, there's been different Icelandic scientists who have talked about, well, we had one forecast that it was going to end this past summer. It obviously didn't. We had another group of scientists who thought that the eruption in August was going to be the last one. It wasn't. We had one in November, and now we have inflation resuming again. I'm not willing to make any of those statements, or really those don't make sense to me. We have a system that is continuing to supply magma from a deeper supply up to this shallower zone that's producing the eruptions. So will it end? Sure, it will end at some point. Is this going to go on for decades? Probably not. There probably will be, and just like these 3 eruptions here, we had 3 years. Now, granted, there was only 3 discrete eruptions, but we did have eruptions here over the course of essentially 3 years. And we may see something similar here. We've had 7 so far this year. Well, 7 total, I mean, one in December of last year. So 6 this year and 1. At some point, yeah, that will come to an end, but we might see a different nearby area. Maybe the magma supply switches back over to Fagradalsfjall. Maybe it's some new area. Maybe the Reykjanes shuts down completely. Hard to say. All we can say for sure is what the data is showing us, and that is inflation that reaches a threshold where we get the earthquakes. That leads to an eruption. Once the eruption ends, we look to see if there's signs of inflation again, and so far we've seen that with each eruption this year. From Jenny Ross, I've read that prior to the current series of eruptions, there hasn't been an eruption for 800 years. What do you think changed? Yeah, there was, all these older lavas that you see on the landscape here, like the Eldvarp system over here, erupted from 1200 to 800 years ago. So there was a roughly 400-year period of on and off eruptions in this area. I don't know of any good conclusion as to what is controlling that. It could be that you need enough tectonic activity, faulting, extension across this divergent plate boundary. Maybe you need several hundred years of that offset to take that decompression melting trigger that generates enough magma that you get an eruption. There may be something to that you need to thin the crust enough to generate the magma that can fuel that eruption, and then you get that once that batch of magma is created, you get eruptions over the next couple hundred years on and off, and then when that magma is more or less depleted, you need more extension to create more magma. I don't know that, but that's maybe an idea for what might be going on there. So nothing's really changed. There was a period of eruptions prior to that. Even I probably have this on a graphic somewhere. I could pull up for you guys. Let's see. And some of you have seen this before, but this might be helpful to see the eruptive history. Go. Yeah, so this is ages from today, well, more or less today, 0, going back 4,000 or so years. And these are these bands of orange across the map are different sort of volcanic zones or systems on the Reykjanes Peninsula. Right now we have this one here, the Eldvarpsfartsengi one, then there's Fagradalsfjall, Krýsuvík, these other ones here. And so you can see there's these periods. There's your 800 to 1200 year or so before present period, 400-year period, where the eruptions took place. Then it's quiet for some interval, but it varies by location. And then the eruptions take place, and then it's quiet. And so we have more than just that one interval. There's 2 more, and there might have been a lot more before that. We just don't have the evidence in the record for it to show that. Yeah, so who knows? Is it really cyclical? Well, based on limited data, it seems to have some cyclic behavior. I'm not ready to say every 800 years this thing just goes off more or less nonstop for 400 years and then it shuts down. I think it's limited data. We don't know much about the system. It's complicated with the tectonics. A lot going on here. The hotspot, the divergent plate boundary. Really good question, though, Jenny. Mike Jones, curious whether you've ever done any exploration or research on the volcanic formations in southern Missouri near the St. Francois mountain area. No, I've not, Mike. Never even set foot in Missouri, unfortunately. Lots of cool things out there. I'm assuming these are quite old, Paleozoic or even older, perhaps, volcanic formations. Sounds like an interesting place, though. Susan L. wants to know predictions for 2025. No predictions. Remember, a prediction, technically, and I know I'm being the nerd here, but a prediction technically is when we state something in terms of, we give details, right? Like, so a location, a time, and a magnitude. So if you give those 3, that level of detail, that's a prediction, right? Tonight at 5:30, you know, this is going to happen, and that would be more like a prediction. So what we do is we do forecasting, which is not as exciting, but it's something like, you know, there's a 20% chance of a, you know, eruption of this magnitude taking place within the next 3 years. That's more like what we would do. I would say, though, just I get the thrust of your question. I would say 2025. I would guess 2025 is going to look a lot like 2024, all things being equal. Until we see something change, the magma is here. The eruptions have been taking place here, more or less, and that's what I expect to happen. And the eruptions, you know, are spaced out from like a month to 3 months. So I would say, looking into my cloudy 2025 crystal ball for this area, that's what I expect, because that's what the data is showing right now. That's what the data has shown. So I don't expect there to be any changes until there's data to indicate. If we start seeing a swarm of earthquakes off to the west, maybe something over here in your Fagradalsfjall or something different, then sure, maybe then that forecast would change a little bit. So yeah, fun to think about, though. Oh, someone wants to know about the hoodie on the logo. Is it based on a real, or the logo on the hoodie? Yeah, so you're probably talking about this one here. No, this is not based off of a real volcano, so I'll kind of blow this up a little bigger. It's just a simple graphic of an erupting stratovolcano, a little snow on top. See the red and orange here. Very cartoonish, not based on any volcano at all. So just had some graphics people come up with. Something that showed a volcano, and that one worked pretty well. FSM is the dog. You didn't do a California update. Was that quake a one-off? Oh boy. shoot, I don't know how much I can share with this. There is I haven't got permission to share this yet. So there is a company that has done a pretty big analysis on the 7.0 Cape Mendocino earthquake that was on December 5th. And I did one, I guess, live stream about that 2 weeks ago, whatever. I guess I can share the link because I don't know if I have permission to share like the details and stuff. But the company's called Temblor, Temblor, and they have kind of a little Earth news feed. It's a company made out of scientists and stuff, but they have some interesting analyses of the quake. But I don't want to share it all like with their graphics and stuff until I have permission, because that could be a copyright issue. Basically, though, to answer your question, was it a one-off? No, this is one of the most seismically active areas in all of California. This area over here in Northern California, this triple junction where the San Andreas Fault meets the, oh boy, let's get across the ocean here. Here we go. Where the San Andreas Fault meets the Cascadia subduction zone and the Mendocino fault zone right here. Here's Cape Mendocino right there. So this is more or less where the earthquake occurred. So it's not a one-off because we've had earthquakes there in the past. We're going to have more earthquakes there in the future. This area is quite seismically active. The report you guys can look up, and I'll hopefully get permission to share, because I thought about doing like a more in-depth analysis on it. It talks about, did it seismically trigger? It appears to have seismically triggered. There was a magnitude, what was it, like a 4.8 down by the geysers geothermal field, maybe a few minutes after the 7.0 occurred. And so it seems to have triggered that quake based on like the arrival of the seismic waves. And it may have played a bit of a role, I don't think it's conclusive, in triggering the 5.8 that was over here in western Nevada. So anyway, they've got some neat analyses there. I'll try to do a follow-up video on that, but I got to first see if I can get some permission to share some of the great science that they did there. Keith Dowsett wants to know, as the channel host, what have you enjoyed about the experience on YouTube this year? Oh, that's a fun question. I think just interacting with the viewers. The live streams are really fun. It gives me a chance to, even though I know it's not the best thing, I guess I'm going to say a couple things. One, the field trips are really awesome, because the field trips are like the real personal experience where I get to meet some of those YouTube viewers. And sometimes, you know, I get to meet someone on a field trip and they're like, hey, I was the guy that asked you this question, or I go by this handle on the live chat. And then it's kind of fun to put the name with the face. But I'd say any viewer interaction is definitely a highlight. That's the fuel to the fire, whether it's you guys chiming in on the live chat, or meeting people on a field trip, or sometimes I just bump into people, and you know, this doesn't happen that often, but sometimes people recognize me, or there's that connection. So I'd say that might be the most rewarding and enjoyable thing. Doing everything else is kind of fun. I mean, it's not always convenient, right? So when the volcano erupts at 3 in the morning and I'm like, oh boy, we gotta, you know, like that's not fun always. But once I kind of get in here and get going, it's exciting. Just seeing all the events and different processes that the Earth produces that people find interesting and want to know more about, makes it super fun for me. So probably not a succinct answer there, but that's some thoughts I had there. I think that's the end of page 1. If there's a second sheet, Amanda Jo, if you want to send that along, that would be great. Yeah, I think I got to all those questions there. So if there's another round of questions, I'm willing to do that. For folks that in the live chat, hope you're doing okay. For the folks that have contributed, thank you for your support of the channel. Appreciate it. And yeah, let's see if you guys have any other questions. And we learn from each other, right? I mean, I think that's what makes it fun. yeah, I do also have a follow-up. I want to do a follow-up video to the Nevada earthquake. I found some interesting information on that. They've actually named it now. It's called the Parker Butte earthquake. And so that might be something I can put together here before Christmas. In looking ahead the next couple weeks, while Amanda Jo sends me this next page of questions, I do have one more interview that I did that I need to put together with a really interesting guy who works at Grand Teton National Park named Simeon Kasky. So I hope to put that together soon and get that out over the break or around Christmas time. And then also, let's see, what am I doing here? Two things at once. So I was trying to pull up the Nevada quake. There it is. Yeah, so they're giving it a name now. Oh, it's down to 5.7, so smaller. And then other things looking forward would be, I've got some more 101 videos I want to get done, a couple more videos from Sedona that I need to put out as well. So there will be some things coming over the next few weeks, so lest you think that this is me signing off until next year sometime. Okay, question sheet number 2. The graphic in question was the hoodoo on the sunrise logo. Oh, I totally misunderstood that. And that was from JMS. I apologize, JMS. You asked about, yes, I can tell you about that. So you were asking about, let me get to a good spot here. This logo here. It's the one on the, yeah, this one. Yeah, the fun story there is that I did a video and took a picture in southern Utah. I can find it. Over here. This might have been 2 years ago, but it was a place called the Toadstools. Maybe I'll relaunch this video. Some of these old videos don't have good thumbnails. They really don't have any thumbnails. And I'll probably get them back out there. So, I mean, essentially, it's might be that one right there. Does that look like it? I guess I can look. Yeah, kind of similar, right? Yeah, that's it. So this area in southern Utah, the Toadstools with these caps of coarse-grained sandstones and these pedestals of softer mudstone, erosional features. I'd taken a picture of one of these, and I sent that to the graphic designer and said maybe something like this could be used as one of the logos. And then they added the, made it look nice, added the sunset, got the colors in there. Yeah, so I think it turned out well. So yeah, thanks for asking about that one. Sorry, I misunderstood your question the first time. Okay, question sheet number 2. Anu wants to know, looking at the history of the area where the eruptions now occur, would be accurate to presume that the eruptions will continue for a long time, maybe move a bit, but not going to stop anytime soon? I certainly have no idea. I think, I mean, it really just depends on like how this magma supply, which I just don't have a good handle on, because remember, this is all taking place at depth, kilometers, miles below the surface. We're, I guess, going into our 4th year. It started in 2021 over here, just shifted over slightly. Continue for a long time. How long is a long time? Maybe. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it all somehow winded down this year, or if 10 years from now it was still kind of chugging along, on and off eruptions in this area. We've seen that. We saw that with Krafla in the northern part of Iceland. Those eruptions were on and off for, 9 years? So we might be seeing something similar. I would say the safest thing to assume is, would be that expecting eruptions and expecting the process to continue should be the mindset, and not even consider or think about it ending until we see some data that starts going in that direction. Yeah, from Cog Spinner, volcano or Dante's Peak for a volcano movie? Ha! Good one. So I teach a natural disasters class, and I used to do this, and I shifted away from it for a couple of reasons. One is just these 2 movies got older with the younger students in the class. But anyway, these are both 90s movies, if you're not aware. I think they came out the same year, 97, if I remember correctly. Dante's Peak has Pierce Brosnan, big production. Linda Hamilton's in it. It's supposed to be set in the Cascades, even though they filmed it, I think, in Wallace, Idaho, or something like that. And it depicts a big cone stratovolcano that shows signs of eruption, so it kind of leads up to the eruption. And then Pierce Brosnan is the geologist, and he's the only one that thinks it's going to erupt, and everyone else is trying to kind of quiet him down and get him to not create panic. And sure enough, it erupts, and it depicts all sorts of things happening. What's interesting is that Dante's Peak actually had, from what I've read or been told, actually had a scientific advisor. So some of it's actually kind of accurate, but they did excuse me, Hollywood it a bit and blend things together. So if you've ever seen the movie, and spoiler alert, it shows this stratovolcano erupting, ash, and it produces pyroclastic flows, but also during the same eruption it shows low viscosity, Iceland style eruptions of basalt, which you wouldn't have those kind of in the same thing. So I'd say I would tend towards Dante's Peak, probably is my preference over Volcano. Volcano is with Tommy Lee Jones. It's set in LA. They did not have a science advisor, I do not believe, on the set of that one. It also has lots of flaws and just outright, it's fiction. It shows like ash falling out of the sky like snow, while low viscosity lava kind of comes through the subway systems or the sewers and stuff like that. Yeah, Dante's Peak's probably my preference. So if I had to pick one to watch, if you said you have to sit here and watch one of these and I couldn't opt out, I'd rather watch Dante's Peak. Fun question, thank you. Bex wants to know regarding how the lava builds up after watching it flow from the fissures at the start of the eruptions. It doesn't seem that thick, but after a few days, it does seem to build to tens of feet. Explain. Yeah, so what you can get there, and there's probably, you probably find some great videos of this behavior. Let's see if I can find one real quick, just like some sort of video. Huh, it pulls up a bunch of my videos. That's funny. Anyway, what's happening there, I'm trying to find a good video. What was that? Oh, there's a group that does. Oh, let's do. Okay, so you might watch this. I don't want to necessarily show it. I don't know if it's protected, but lava flows and lava tubes. This is a good video of part 1 and part 2 that will show you basically how this kind of behaves. The idea basically is that these flows come out, they're fairly thin, but they develop a little thin crust on the top, but that crust is elastic and flexible. So as more lava continues to move into that individual flow, it can actually rise and inflate like a balloon. So what's initially maybe only a few feet thick, over time can thicken to be tens of feet, or not in the modern record, but in the ancient record, we actually have lava flows like in the Columbia River Gorge, Columbia River basalts that are hundreds of feet thick. One individual flow that's over 100 feet, 6 or over 30 meters or whatever thick in terms of its actual height. So that's kind of a quick and dirty explanation of that, of how those can actually flow. So I would watch that lava flows and lava tubes video, and there is you don't have to watch all of it because it's kind of long, but there's a segment in there. It is broken up into segment, and there's one in there called Pahoehoe inflation. And if you watch the Pahoehoe inflation, that little 4-minute section, they show it and do a nice job explaining it. Post-it Iceland wants to know, what are the odds of the Svartsengi volcano becoming a shield volcano? Could happen. I mean, we have one right here. So there's one just to the east of Hagafelt. There's this, I can't remember what the name of this one is, but there is one right here. Shield volcano with a summit crater and even a collapsed lava tube system coming off of it a bit here. So we've got one there. I know there's a couple others. There's another one somewhere over here. I won't be able to find it, but it might be right there. Over here on the peninsula. There's a couple of them. There might be 2 or 3 in this part of the Reykjanes Peninsula. So we have several different types of volcanoes there. We have the big steep hills like Stora Stokfeld, Stölingarfeld. These are old subglacial volcanoes. So these were volcanoes that erupted when this area was occupied by ice. A lot of the steep topography around Fagradalsfjall and going over into the Krýsuvík area, this high steep topography, these mountains, were produced by subglacial volcanoes. But we do have in places these shield volcanoes. What it would take would be, I mean, the way the eruptions are occurring right now, it's not going to make a shield volcano. You would need much more sustained, long-lived eruptions from a centralized vent, and you'd probably need a little bit higher supply of magma than what we've seen in the past. These little spatter cones that kind of chug along, and maybe they grow to be 100 feet or so tall, 30 meters, 40 meters, just aren't going to do it. You would need a different convergence of circumstances to create a shield volcano. So possible, yes. Likely, I would say no, based on what we've seen so far. But it could, potentially, one of these eruptions could, get the conditions just right and produce a shield volcano. From the Congratulations channel, are there infos how many years the hill lines in the area needed to get as high as today? Okay, let's see. Are there infos how many years the hill lines in the area needed to get as high as today? You could estimate the number of eruptions then. Not quite sure I follow your question. I apologize. The hill lines in the area needed to get as high as today. If you're talking about some of these other hills and these volcanoes, again, these are subglacial volcanoes, so they behave very differently. They produce different rock. It's the same rock composition, but rock types, essentially. They don't produce these lava flow fields. They're erupting under ice and interacting with the water. So they're producing a more fragmented material called breccia or hyaloclastite, and they tend to make these much steeper sided constructs because they're underneath the ice. So if you're asking, how long until these lavas get as high as these hills, it's messy. You can't even look at, stratigraphically a cut through these and pick out all the layers, because these lava flows are not always stacked on top of each other. They're sometimes stacked, but they're sometimes also flowing in the low spots and topographic areas, so it's a little tricky. Okay, looks like 2 more questions here, unless there's a quick one, and then we'll kind of wind this down here, team. How big, Barry M wants to know, how big was Silesia compared to Iceland? Are they formed in a similar fashion? Okay, so Silesia is the name for this now gone, but what was once a large mound of igneous rock off the Pacific Northwest coast, created by a hotspot, much like Iceland, that was carried by the plate and then accreted to North America. And it's thought, or at least conjectured, or it's one of the models is that hotspot now is the same hotspot that's underneath Yellowstone. So it's the idea that this Yellowstone hotspot is much more longer lived than we think. So it goes back to like 30, 40, 50 million years ago. So they're similar in that they're both a hotspot. The difference is Iceland's also a divergent boundary. So it has a little bit more complicated tectonic activity. The hotspot, remember, is actually the center of the hotspot's more over here in sort of central Iceland. And so the question is the magmas that we're seeing here, like is that magma from the hotspot that's maybe diverting over here to the west, or is this totally magmas that are produced by the extension and the melting that takes place there? And then let's see, from Estrame, how large is the chance for a catastrophic sized earthquake with a large tsunami in the Cascadia subduction zone within the end of this century? Okay, whoa, so that's a lot there. So in the next 75 years, we're almost to 2025. So what are the chances of a big, said catastrophic size earthquake? So catastrophic size earthquake, that would probably be 8 or larger. So magnitude 8 or larger quake. This is the Cascadia subduction zone here. It's this plate here, the Juan de Fuca plate's pushing underneath North America. I don't know. There probably is a probability for that that's been calculated. It's low, though. So by the end of this century, in the next 75 years, what's the probability of a magnitude 8 earthquake on this subduction zone that also would produce a large tsunami? I have no idea, but single digit number, like 2%, 1%, 0.1%. It's low. It's very low. And yet it's high enough that we should be making precautionary steps. We should have mitigation structures, and there are, right? We have tsunami warning signs along the coast. Communities are planning for that. So I think it's maybe it's as high as 10%. I have no idea what the probability is. I doubt it's larger than 10%. But is there a chance? Yes. Remember too that these big events that we like to kind of focus on because they're exciting and large are low frequency, right? So on average, planet Earth gets 1 magnitude 8 per year, and it tends to be, over here in this part of the Pacific, Alaska, Japan, maybe Chile, some other place. Yeah, so I don't know what the recurrence interval, I don't think we have enough, maybe there is some data on this that shows what the recurrence interval is. In the next 75 years, yeah, maybe. So I'm sure someone's done that. I'm throwing numbers at you, so, but I'm sure someone actually has that somewhere. Okay, next question, and then there might be one more quick sheet here. So I'm going to try to wind this down, friends. We've been together almost 2 hours, and it's been fun, but I don't want to wear out my welcome too much. We burned up too much time with the game show, I guess. Okay. Yeah, so that was the last question on that sheet. Oh, good. There's just four quick questions, and we're done. Victor Heger, what I would love is a comparison model on like the fountains and how big a human is or an elephant, just looking at the May eruption, but it's always unclear how big these eruptions really are. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating is when we're seeing the webcam footage or the drone cam footage of the fire fountaining around these volcanoes. Even the spatter cones themselves, it's hard to see or get a sense of how big they are, like what the scale is. Yeah, so if someone did like a simple mock-up with a little person there, that might be helpful. I could try to do that. I remember like just a simple sketch to scale of one of the spatter cones in a person. But you're also mentioning the fountains, and sometimes the fountains are like hundreds of meters high, and so the person would be really, really small. But yeah, it definitely would convey the scale in a much more meaningful way than us just saying it's fountain to 200 meters or something like that. Karma Black says, I'd still love seeing a field trip to Mount Rainier, though I'd understand if that never happens. Yeah, the trick with the field trips team is, I mean, there's no end of like geologically interesting places, but for me to lead a field trip, it has to work logistically, so I have to kind of be able to get there and be there. And that's not even the biggest hurdle. The biggest hurdle is I have to know enough about it to like lead it and be able to share that, there has to be a minimum amount of knowledge I have. And while I know the basics of Mount Rainier and I've been there once, I'm by no means prepared to lead a field trip there. But could I go up there and spend several days and read papers and look at rocks and come up with a field trip plan? Sure. And I mean, that's essentially what I did this last year. I'm venturing out from Twin Falls. I did a 3 different days of field trips in northern Utah, and I know the geology basics there pretty well, but I went in and I figured out where we were going to stop and how I was going to show different things and how do we get all the cars in here. So I'd like to keep adding to that, but yeah, Mount Rainier probably not going to happen anytime soon. There's other capable geologists in that area that may or may not be leading field trips, but Mount Rainier is awesome for sure. Like all those Cascade volcanoes each one of them has its own would be a great field trip location. Okay, what if, this is from Victor as well, what if this Iceland eruption are a 300-year upcoming event? I mean, it's hard to say at the beginning. Here we are in year 2. We're barely turning the page into year 2. So projecting that it's going to be a 300-year event is complete conjecture. The only basis we have is we did have these periods of on and off, right? So they weren't continuous. Those eruptions that happened for 400 years weren't going off every day for 400 years, but it was, on and off. And when we're looking back at that 400-year period, I don't even know if they've been able to calculate how many individual eruptions occurred in that 400-year period. Like how might have been that more of that 400-year period was without eruptions versus with eruptions. So really hard to say. Just right now we're just at the beginning of this new phase, I suppose. Last question from Mr. Ontario 66. What volcano do you think will erupt next? Not sure if you're talking about the Cascades or Iceland, just volcanoes in general. So if I have to pick a volcano, I don't know all the volcanoes on planet Earth, but of the ones I look at, certainly Iceland is going to be at the top of my list or near the top of my list because we have a recharging system that's already erupted 7 times in the last year, year from today, and we'd expect it to do it again. I mean, I would maybe pick Kilauea. If you talk about ones in the lower 48, definitely one of the Cascades, I think, is going to be one of those. Could be St. Helens, could be South Sister near Bend. Yeah, not sure. Just got to keep watching the data, and the data will kind of show us some indication that those volcanoes are likely to erupt. I just got to, let's see, this Cascade Volcano Observatory. Oh, okay, something interesting there, but nothing too alarming. Okay, how'd we do here? Did we stick the landing? Yeah, hopefully, just kind of looking back at the live chat now. Yeah, I see Weeping Scorpion. I see your last minute question there. Yeah, the berms have been effective, but have any what if no berm maps have been made, scenario hypotheses? It would be interesting. You probably could model that. You could take the topography and model what would this now look like without the berms. But for sure we'd have lava at the Blue Lagoon and in the power plant. There's no, that's an absolute, that lava would have gone into, like, it was the lowest area. It was the topographically lowest, flattest area. So the lava would have pooled there probably from several eruptions over time. So yeah, but interesting to see what it would have looked like had they not constructed those berms. So awesome. Yeah, Amanda, Joe, and Susan, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me here for 2 hours. Looks like Amanda Joe's got all the winners there compiled. So it looks like we had 11 winners: Joanna, Mantle Wynn, Sandrine, Elizabeth Wynn, Sanderson, Sunny Wheeler, Petra, John Rudisil, Justin Address, Tanya, and Ice Queen. You guys all were the lucky winners in our little merch giveaway. Hopefully this was fun. I think it was super awesome for us to look back at the past year. I want to give a big thanks as we wind down here, folks, to a couple individuals or entities. First of all, thank you to Nature Eye and Johan, who've been very helpful this past year in giving me access to the drone and flying over these eruptions. It's added a lot to what we've been able to do as a community. I want to thank Isak, who's also been very helpful in allowing me to either work with him or use some of his material like I have today to help understand these eruptions a little bit more. All the people I've interviewed that have given me some of their time over the last year, my family for letting me come do this, and they're like, yeah, go do your geology thing. That's great. Just go get it out of your system. Don't sit here at the dinner table and talk to us about volcanoes. Go share that with people who will appreciate it. Amanda, Joe, Susan, and Lisa, our moderators, thank you so much for your time and energy this past year. I couldn't do this at all without you, so you guys are absolutely invaluable. And then finally, just all of you, all our members, our viewers, everyone on the team. This only works because of you and because we all have this common interest. I'm just sort of the ringleader. I don't feel like I'm above anyone else. I feel like I'm learning constantly from all of you and others, and it's just a pure pleasure to have this platform, have this format where we can all learn together. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, a great holiday break if you're celebrating. Of course, there'll be more videos to come, so this is by no means a goodbye, but just want to let everyone know how grateful and thankful I am for their support, for their presence on this channel, whether you're contributing on the live chat or with emails or ideas or whatever. It's all super helpful. It's all valued, and I hope you feel that when you come here and spend time with us. So thank you all to everyone for joining us. That's a wrap. We did it. We even managed to get through the merch giveaway, which was fun. I'll be honest. We could streamline it a little bit. That would be a little bit better. So great stuff. Thank you all. Have a great day or evening or afternoon or whatever it is, and we'll see you next time. Take care.